Hello and welcome to Daily Red, your late afternoon, early afternoon, mid-afternoon catch-up on all things Liverpool FC, and your daily reminder that the Reds are top of the league. A little bit later than normal today. Apologies for that. I had something come up that was unavoidable. Tonight, Liverpool will be taking on Aston Villa at Villa Park. This, on paper, is a very tough game. It's a very tough game. We know that Villa are a good team. They've got quality players. They've got a good manager. It's a tough enough place to go. It's a place we've had some sketchy results in the last couple of years. But the reality of it is that they're ninth in the league. They are ninth in the league. So we are giving them a little bit too much respect based on what we've seen from them this season. That's not to say they're not capable of getting a draw tonight or even beating us. We've seen them go to Arsenal not that long ago and get themselves a good result. So they are capable. They have the players. It's just that this season, likely because of their involvement in the Champions League, but also with some injuries and a drop-off from certain players, most notably their goalkeeper, they just haven't performed as well as expected. And if you take a look at the form table for a minute, over the last 6 games, we're joint top with Arsenal. And Aston Villa are 11th. 2 wins, 3 draws. Only 1 defeat, so they are hard to beat. But nonetheless, they are 11th in the form table over the last 6 games. Over the last 10 games, we are top. They are 11th. 3 wins, 4 draws, and 3 defeats. So only 3 wins from the last 10. Now at home, over the last 6 games, they're unbeaten. 3 wins, 3 draws. But away from home, we've been the second best team in the league over the last 6 games, with 4 wins and 2 draws. Funnily enough, Crystal Palace, the only team better away from home than us over the last 6 weeks. And if we dive into Villa and start looking at recent results, and if we take since the turn of the year, they beat Leicester at home. They went to Everton and won in Moyes' first match. Then they went and they got a good draw away to Arsenal. And you thought at that point, okay, maybe after a fairly sketchy first half of the season, where they had a pretty good first 9 games, then a pretty bad next 9 games with 5 losses in there, you thought, okay, we're going to see more of the Villa we expected now. But it's a draw at home to West Ham, a defeat away to Wolves, where really and truly Wolves wiped the floor with them, and then a 1-1 draw at home to Ipswich, who are clearly not a good team. You know, you look at their home form this year, they beat Everton. At the time, most teams are beating Everton. They beat Wolves. Okay. That's 2 teams inside the bottom 4, I think, at the time. They lost to Arsenal. They drew at Manchester United. They drew at Bournemouth. They drew at Crystal Palace. Then they beat Brentford. Then they beat Southampton. Again, you're looking at bottom half teams. Then a win over Manchester City. And then since then, it's a draw with Brighton, a win over Leicester, a draw with West Ham, and a draw with Ipswich. So the only good result they've had at home this season, and by good result, I mean a result against the team in a European position, is Manchester City. They beat Manchester City at home on the 21st of December. Now, at that point, City were in a run where they'd lost at Bournemouth, lost at Brighton, got hammered at home by Spurs, lost to us, beat Forest, then drew with Crystal Palace, lost at home to Manchester United, and then lost at Villa Park before drawing with Everton in the next game. So they got that City team in the midst of their bad run, towards the tail end of it, definitely, but in that bad run, where City won one of 9 Premier League games, 2 draws and 6 defeats. That's the only good result you're looking at, really, for Villa this year. Their home form has not been like 6 wins, 6 draws. That's not good. It's not good for a team with Champions League ambitions, especially when their away form has been so disappointing. And they had a favourable schedule of home games. If you look at their remaining home games, Liverpool, top. Chelsea, Champions League contender. Then they're 3 away from home in a row. Then Forest, Champions League contender. Newcastle, Champions League contender. Fulham, top half. And then Spurs in the last one. So that their back half of the season at home much harder than the first half. Like their last 6, if you swap out, let's say you swap out Fulham for Arsenal and Tottenham for City, there's the top 6. They've got 4 of the top 6 left to play at home, plus a Fulham team who are just horrible to play against, and Spurs who you just don't know what you're going to get with them. Their home form has not been good. They're tough to beat at home, but when you look at who they've been playing, they should be looking at 10 home wins. They really should be looking, if whatever about losing to Arsenal, that's fine. You should be beating this Manchester United team at home. You should be beating Crystal Palace at the time in the bottom 3 at home. You should be beating Brighton at the time in a terrible run at home. You should be beating West Ham, who are in a terrible run at home. And you should be beating Ipswich, who are awful at home, especially when they have 10 men for over 50 minutes. So this Villa team, I've seen some people say, oh, they haven't lost at home since August. Yeah. And they've only won 6 games at home in the 12 since. And they've only beaten 1 team in the top half. And drawn with a couple of others. Other than that, it's been the dregs of the league that they've been playing at home. And, you know, their Champions League form has been up and down, but you'd imagine playing in the Champions League definitely had the knock-on effect, similar to what we saw last year with Newcastle. But since the turn of the year, they've lost away to Monaco and then beaten Celtic at home. And Celtic came from 2-0 down to get back to 2-2 before eventually losing 4-2. Morgan Rogers with the hat-trick in that game. But there's not a whole lot to be impressed by. There's not a lot to be impressed by with Aston Villa this season. Yes, they got through in the top 8 of the Champions League. They finished 8th. They finished behind Lille, behind Bayer Leverkusen, on goal difference with the pair of them. There were 2 points behind Atleti, 3 points behind Inter, Arsenal and Barca, and 5 points behind us, despite having what I would say was a considerably easier run than us. They played Young Boys. They played Bayern. That's their toughest game by far. They had it at home, and Bayern aren't great. They played Bologna. We saw what they're about. They lost away to Bruges. Now, credit to them, Bruges actually have turned out to be better than expected, but still. They drew at home with Juve. They won away to Leipzig. We won away to Leipzig. They lost to Monaco, and they beat Celtic. That's an easier run than we had, and they took 5 points less. So when I see people talk about how tough this game is going to be, yes, it's going to be difficult, but I do think people are overplaying this Aston Villa team this year.
All right, the Reds, it's Jack here, and that was a clip from one of Anfield Index's audio podcasts. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure you do like, share, and subscribe to keep up to date on all things LFC. We record around 100 audio podcasts every month, with our shows featuring match-going fans, top journalists, professional analysts, and even Liverpool legends along the way, with the great Dane himself, Jan Molby, joining us every single week. If you want to listen to all our podcasts for free, head over to anfieldindex.com/podcasts. Our audio shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Anfield Index. Or if you prefer to listen to all our podcasts in full and without any ads, why not head over to AI Pro today to check it out now at AnfieldIndexPro.com. If you want to get involved in the great growing community of Liverpool fans, check out the Anfield Index Discord. The link is in the description. Do get involved with that from Reds around every corner of the globe. For now, Reds, hope you enjoyed this video.